Welcome back, Ghosties. It's episode 8 of Ghosties on Second. And Corey and I are flying solo. We're not really flying solo because we're together. We're flying duo tonight.
Yeah, sure.
Because Shelby will not be joining us. We got some of the kids are sick. Her sister's in town. There's just a lot going on. But alternatively, we are joined by a special guest, fellow Ghostie, a curator of the Spotify playlist, Ghost Runners Tight Beats, Facebook group contributor. We're joined by Fitz-Gerald. So we'll be hearing from him in just a few minutes here. But I did want to say off the top, happy anniversary. Jake and Rachel have been married 2 years this week. And it's kind of fun because we met them literally the week after they got married. So that kind of put it into perspective, like, wow, that was 2 years ago?
Yeah, we sent them off on their honeymoon.
That's right, we did. We sent them with congratulations and a crisp $100.
Yeah,
so
you did.
No, that was from us, dude. And I would not have won all that money if it wouldn't.
Yeah,
if you weren't. Silent.
That further probably makes them think that we were like some sort of couple. Like we said, we gave it to, and guess who's going to the Ghosty Getaway together?
This is from Caleb and Corey. Sheesh. I guess I should be wearing a name tag that says he and his. My goodness. So with that, Corey, say the magic words.
Roll the music.
Ghosties on Second.
And without further ado, we'll just go ahead and get right into it with Philip Fitz-Gerald.
Philip, thanks so much for joining us, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, happy to be here.
You know, I just realized that's one of the first times I said bro in a long time. Because of Brad, I've been saying brother so often. Saying bro takes me back. I think in episode 439, when they were talking about old school music that they were listening to, and Brad mentioned Sean McDonald, and that took me back. Are you familiar with that song?
I don't think I know.
Take my hand to the promised land. And that song was such a part of life. There was a short little season where I would wear like the shell necklace, and I would grow up my hair like surfer hair, and I would wear flip
like the puka beat.
Yeah, the puka. I would wear in flip flops and listen to Jack Johnson, and then Sean McDonald was like, I think like the Christian version of Jack Johnson ish. But I love that whole segment that they were talking about music.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. A little bit about Philip, but really the main thing that I know is that you and Caleb Parker, the two of you guys, curated the Spotify playlist.
Yeah, we've more or less like created the like Ghost Runners type beats, kind of like entire like Spotify, Apple Music, on a number of different platforms. Just uploaded bunch of different songs to there from Ghost Runner, from the jingles, and it's been really fun to just do that. Had some kind of engagement from the community, and actually being able to kind of like have them suggest songs and actually like have them kind of pick more or less what's actually going on that Spotify page or Apple Music page. But yeah, it's been really fun.
So you're essentially like going, I guess, clipping the episode and then maybe, is that it? Or is there like any sound refinement, or what does that process look like?
Yeah, so what I've been doing more, what I did for the last album with like Timon's main album was like, originally I kind of just like basically did what you said of like clip it, use like software called Audacity, and I essentially clip it and then use this web page called DistroKid, and that essentially allows me to upload to a bunch of different streaming platforms. But more recently with this newest album, I've been able to I like added some like reverb to the vocals and some like bass and like tenor boost a little bit, just to kind of try to make Timon's voice stand out a little bit from the episode. And sometimes they're like mixing of like the sound of the music versus the voices is a little off, but it's not too bad generally.
I have I was listening today. I hadn't listened to the Ghost Runners Type Beats in quite some time. I remember when I first heard about it, I clicked on it, and I meant to listen to it more, but I'm not really a Spotify guy. In fact, I've told this before, but when we started the podcast, I had to like download Spotify on my phone to get us going. But Equine 1 was just blowing my mind today. Tell me about Equine 1, because that sounds like
that was produced. Is that just a cut from the pod, or what did you do to that song?
Yeah, that literally was just like cut from like Timon's producing from the podcast episode. Like I literally did nothing to that. Like that was all him. Yeah, I
You
mean
know,
he really produced that.
I can't even remember ever hearing that. I don't think I had ever heard that one before. So that could have been from before I was on Patreon, or maybe just somehow I missed it because I loved it. It's to that Justin Bieber song. You are the
Oh yeah.
only one I'll ever love. Oh, dude, but yeah, the production on that was great.
I think, to be honest, if I'm
Yeah.
being completely honest, I didn't know this existed until the other day when I was trying to get my wife to like understand the mouse in the house thing. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I saw something I think recently on Facebook. It was probably this, like maybe it was from you or someone else posting about like the curated playlist, so I went and like played it, and she was just like, okay, like cool, like.
It's so good.
But I was like, I was thinking to myself when I was listening to it, I was like, this sounds better than it did like live. It sounded like it was like somebody like Timon went to the studio.
Well, I did a little bit of research, and I noticed. No, not noticed. I found that your first time ever posting in the Facebook group was on December 23rd, 2023. You posted a picture of a white elephant gift that you had gotten, and it was like a screaming goat statue.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny. What about that? What was it that made you like? How long had you been listening to the podcast before you did your first time post? And what was it about that was like, the ghosties got to see this?
Yeah, so I think I've been listening like I think since like COVID times is when I kind of first started. I think I've been listening to like Correct Opinions, and then kind of like heard Jake, and I think I heard like he and Brad had a podcast, and I was like, oh yeah, I mean these guys are like so fun, like they sound really like just like really good guys, and I like started listening, and then I immediately went back to the first episode and didn't listen to any of the ones until I like caught up with all of them. So I think like during that time, I think they had like 12 and all of that. So like I kind of was just like I really just wanted like a pure start right from the beginning. It was just like I need to like understand all of these inside jokes, like just start all from the origin. But I honestly don't remember what it was with that screaming, like it was like a screaming goat, like you could like press the little thing and it would like scream. And I think it was something on the podcast that was like they were talking about that. Maybe something with like yeah, I honestly don't remember what it was, but
maybe it's something about just like white elephant gifts in general, and you were like, oh, this is a great one. Is it like remember that fish that would like talk on the wall? Is it kind of like that? Like you push a button and it just like
It's not. It was like a little statue. I'll put a picture right here. But yeah, it was funny. I mean, it's not a big deal. It was just funny. I wondered if you could remember what made you want to post that. But hey, that was a good thing because it got you into the Facebook like posting active into the community. And then I see like how many months later, 4 or 5 months later, on April 9th, 2024, Caleb Park asks the Facebook group if anyone wants to help put together a jingle playlist. And that's when you responded. So thankful that he did that you responded to it. So what's the collaboration? Do you guys still work together on that, or has one of you guys taken more of the lead? Are there other ghosties involved? And to add one more thing, I saw the Google sheet that exists that has like a list of all the songs and like timestamps and stuff, which that there was a lot that needed to be done in there. And I was like, I'll help out with this a little bit. So do you guys still look at the Google sheet? Sorry, I dropped a lot on you, but go ahead.
Yeah, so essentially like it was me and him that kind of like were originally like, oh yeah, we have like a good idea there, but it kind of ended up like more or less like being me who, not to like be like it was just me, but like it was essentially like just me actually doing the recording and actually uploading all the stuff. And yeah, there's been like several different people, like Joshua Schmitz, he's helped some with jingle stuff, like sending me some podcast clips. And then like some of those ghosties that I've created the Google Doc, or I guess Google Sheet to actually like for me to try to look at. As I did have Patreon for a while, but then I ended up unsubscribing there. But now at least with that Google Sheet, I can kind of like um, know exactly like where each song is in the episode, so I don't have to like try to go searching for a specific one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that fully answered all of it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So is the Google Sheet like every time there's a jingle, someone like throws up on there like the timestamp of the jingle? Is that kind of like,
Show it to you.
or is it like people are kind of making requests and maybe not everything is getting?
I think essentially like a bunch of people put up a bunch of stuff initially, and I think it's fallen behind a little bit because I think a lot of stuff from like 400s haven't been like covered,
Oh,
but it's definitely like still very helpful for some of those older jingles. Um,
gotcha. I think one that was recently is the one that I think he sounded kind of like, I think maybe it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. He had kind of like a Panic at the Disco vibe to me.
Electro
Yeah,
funk.
the electro funk one.
Yeah.
I was like, at least the first half of that, I was like, this is definitely like taking me back to like senior year or something.
Yeah.
And like that kind of vibe. But then like it was kind of fading away towards the end.
I know.
But yeah.
Well, that's why it would be fun if like Timon actually got in the
Yeah,
studio
right.
and really
like
did some of these.
right.
If they, because I mean, how many jingles are there? Do we even know?
Probably
uh,
100.
I mean, there's hundreds of them. I mean, like because back and kind of sneak peek, I think Joshua Smith's, me and him are kind of working to, or he's mostly been working on getting a bunch of old opening jingles from the podcast and kind of trying to somewhat mash those up, or at least just give me a bunch of sound clips for me to put on the Spotify page and or Apple Music. So that will be probably one of my next drops.
Nice.
What are a couple of your favorite jingles from over the years?
I think some of my favorite stuff, most recently, I think it was like Saxophone Cry. I just really love like the beat there. It's just such a
Yeah.
great song. And then I think one of the other ones is like Mouse in the House. I just really love like, Jake's rap there.
Yeah.
And kind of just Hyman's just really good vocals.
Yeah.
Dentist. Dentist is also really fun. Timon's kind of like goofy,
I love
just
Dentist.
going nuts, making just nonsense, just really fun.
All the gibberish. Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's one of the ones that
but yeah,
Maddie
those
did
are
dance
kind
to.
of top three.
Awesome. Well, okay, so give me some more about your ghosty origin story. Were you watching Gene Short's comedy? I know you said Correct Opinions. What are some things about those early days that really drew you in to the pod? Some of your favorite memories.
I think like at the point kind of during COVID, I kind of recently like was like I think about to be graduating high school, and I kind of got to like a recent like new part-time job, like a CNC manufacturing place, and so had like a good bit of like downtime just to kind of like listen while kind of like watching the machine, and it kind of just like really like I just was really drawn in by just like feeling like I'm like kind of part of the community, feeling like I'm like actually one of their friends. Just like yeah, I mean they just like talk, and I mean I'm just like yeah, I feel like I really know them. I feel like they're kind of like actually some good friends, and yeah, that's really just what's been drawing me in, keep me going. Yeah, it's just been just so fun to just watch them grow throughout the podcast. Yeah, it's just been kind of an insane journey.
Yeah, I feel like because we didn't watch until like later on, it feels like we're coming in at the end of Empire Strikes Back or something. Like we totally missed the whole first movie and the whole first half of the second movie. So I'm really it's cool that there are so many people that can come in like late to the game and still, because these guys are still just living their lives talking about all the things that are going on, but starting back from the beginning has been really fun. I still haven't gotten past episode 2 though. Like
I think I'm on 4 right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or
it is really
Yeah, 4.
I'm excited to do it, but like the guys talked about their obsessions, like what's their current obsessions, and like one of the things right now is this Ghosties on Second podcast is kind of a current obsession because you have to make sure, like, we have to make sure that we listen to both episodes by Wednesday so that we can record on Wednesday night, get it edited on Thursday, Friday, get the thing uploaded, type out, like, because we do it on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and then create the Facebook post for it. So it's kind of like there's a lot going on. So that's kind of my current obsession right now. Is a lot of my free time is like taking care of the pod, making sure that we're ready for the pod, putting notes together, and then editing the pod. But have you listened to any of the Ghosties on Seconds? Like, how much Ghosties on Second are you familiar with? No pressure. Don't be putting on the spot. Just like, honestly.
Yeah, I've listened to all your episodes so far. Yeah, I started when you guys started. I was like, yeah, I'll listen to two guys talk about, or yeah, two guys and his wife talk about a podcast that I really like. I'll listen to that.
Do you have any? We literally, like, pod audience, we have not spoken. Like, we try to keep these conversations as fresh as possible. Do you have any critiques? Anything that you're like, I'd probably do this a little bit different, or sometimes it drags on a little bit longer? Anything like that? Any feedback for us about the pod?
I mean, honestly, it's like pretty like well paced it feels. Yeah, I mean, kind of like, especially like having guests on by myself, like just trying to figure out like where they're coming from, their ghostly origin story, then kind of getting into the actual podcast. I mean, Dusty's top five, that's always fun. Just kind of like a nice kind of like intermission almost. And then kind of gets back into the podcast. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any main critiques. Yeah, I mean, I don't do podcasts really, so I just listen to them.
Oh man, Dusty's top five. This is something that I haven't mentioned yet. Is, at least I don't think I have. Like, so he edits them, but there's been a couple of times where he'll have something in there that Shelby and I are like, no, that doesn't belong in there. Like, there was one time when he said frickin', like he was quoting Brad, I think, and he was like doing a direct quote, like when Brad said something to Timon, and I went in there and I just like, I found like the perfect splice to where like he said the same sentence, but I just cut out that one frickin' word. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna have my 11-year-old saying frickin' on a podcast.
Memorialized, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little too high up there right now.
Yeah, it's just on
Yeah.
there. And then like he also did one of his, like, he tries to get creative with it. So he tried to do like an intro or an outro. He was like, all right, well that's enough. And he grabs like a little stick, pretends like it's a wand. He does like a Harry Potter,
Yeah.
like fake little spell thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, you're not gonna be doing Harry Potter stuff on the pod. Like,
You're like, my parents wouldn't let me watch Harry Potter, so you're not gonna get anything Harry Potter.
yeah, that's like our family doesn't do Harry Potter like as a family. So it's like, anyway.
Hmm.
Slightly different upbringing.
Yeah.
More wizards.
Yeah, I was more sheltered, more wizards.
Wizards in Waverly Place.
Wizards of Waverly Place. I'm more Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Shoot. All right, so you mentioned graduating high school recently. So you're in your like young 20s.
Yeah, so I'm 21, actually about to be 22 tomorrow.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah,
Sweet.
thank you.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
But yeah, so yeah, right now I'm about to be a senior in college. That'll be
Nice.
this next coming semester. Um, yeah, so
And how much you not love, how much you're involved with the jingles and love the jingles. I mean, I know everyone loves the jingles, but do you have some musicality to you? Like, are you into music? Do you play anything? Do you record stuff outside of this, or is this just like a fun hobby?
yeah, so I don't do much like recording myself, but I play piano, done a little guitar, I sing in a choir out of my church. Yeah, it's been really fun like hearing them sing and kind of just like singing along with them sometimes. And yeah, it's been fun hearing them. Yeah, but yeah, so I have a little bit of some stuff in there, but not too much like recording stuff on my own.
Cool beans.
Yeah, sweet. More musical talent than me for sure.
I really want to be able to play piano. I know how to form chords, but I've never put the time in to do that.
I took piano lessons when I was a little kid, and we bought a keyboard, or I bought a keyboard off Facebook Marketplace. Like I'm so stuck in my corporate mind. I wanted to say Q4.
Q4.
Ridiculous. It's like, stop, don't say that. And then it was maybe like October, November, and it's very much just collected dust. Just honestly. So, but yeah, it's something I would like
Yeah,
to
I
do.
mean,
But
go ahead. I took like lessons kind of all growing up. And then like finally like once I started I like would play music for like youth group at church and like we would do like chords and stuff. And that's kind of when I actually like started liking playing because it makes it a lot more fun if you're not into like just the individual notes and doing that. Like it's a lot more fun to just play the chords and kind of try to like jive with the beat instead of
Yeah.
real syncopated rhythms, which I should probably be better with that, but
I feel like I don't have any like musical talent from that respect of like I can't like keep a beat on like the drums, or like I couldn't pick up the beat perfectly. I think I have whatever Jake has in terms of musical like inability to, I don't know.
He always says that, but I mean, he's decent enough at like carrying a tune and stuff. And I feel like you are too. You used to sing on the youth group team.
Yeah, playing an instrument or like carrying a
Right.
beat or something, or like finding like someone strumming on a guitar or doing like creating some sort of music, and then the drummer just kind of like is not looking at anything, just kind of naturally picks up what's happening. There's no way on earth.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Practice makes progress.
Yeah.
You never know. With enough time
Yeah.
and playing together and getting used to that kind of a feel.
I'll get a drum set.
But I know what you mean.
And annoy my whole family.
Yeah, we're trying to get
Yeah.
Justice is taking drum lessons right now from like a friend who teaches at an actual place, Jeff's son Evan.
Okay.
He teaches at a music school. So on Monday nights, Justice takes an hour drum lesson, and he's like done 4 or 5 at this point.
Yeah.
And they're saying like he can already read like sheet music and stuff, which I never did that with drums. Like looking at like all the different beats and the tempo and everything. I'm like,
wow.
I played drums for church for a few years, and
just for fun.
Yeah, it was just for fun. Like we never used like a click track in our ears or anything crazy like that. It was just like playing along.
Yeah. I used to want to do like there was that Nick Cannon movie Drumline, and I was like, that would be cool. Like we went to private high school, so like there was no drum line.
You know, there was a drum line.
Yeah, there was. Now that I'm saying that,
Like
I was,
2
yeah. Like they tried it for a minute.
Yeah, they hired like an instructor to come in.
Yeah,
and something happened. It was
so quick, but like when I said that out loud, I was like, oh, maybe there was just for a quick second. But yeah, I didn't join it because again, I don't have the beat. Like
I learned paradiddle from that. Like we had 2 Saturdays that we did that drum corps thing.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I learned paradiddle, and then like double paradiddle. Like, anyway, it's just like a little rhythm thing.
I could probably carry that.
I try to teach the kids that because I feel like paradiddle is such a good. It's just like right, left, right, left, left, and then right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. But if you keep doing it again and again and again, and you just like you're learning like how to keep that and do it at different speeds and like, stay in control. It's cool. That's drumline stuff. Nick Cannon, baby.
Just going back to like with Jake, sometimes like hitting notes, like sometimes I'll hear him and he'll be like, oh yeah, he hits a note and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. But then other times like during different songs, I'm like, you didn't hit it. It's a little off, but
yeah,
it's still fun, and yeah, it's just fun. All of them just at least try and all these different things, and I mean that's sometimes the best thing there.
Yeah, I was gonna call him a jack of all trades, but he's kind of a Jake of all trades. Sorry.
Yeah, I do enjoy when he like is part of the jingle. Like yeah, it's nice because it's not every time. To be honest, I feel like when I first started listening, I think that maybe in the first like I don't know 2 months or so was the Mouse in the House, because it was pretty early in my like journey that came on, which I think probably helped solidify it. I was like, this is awesome. But then I think there was like a pretty long period where he was just not in any jingle, and then you know periodically introducing him back in has been nice.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we should just start going through the episodes because we've already been on for quite some time. But and I'm just enjoying getting to know you, Philip.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, loved how this has kind of very organically happened as far as guests go. We had Maddie on, and then we were supposed to have Laura Ann on, and then something happened with her phone.
Yeah.
And like right as she was having to put it off for another week, Malachi was like, "Oh, hey, I'd love to do this," and I was like, "Yeah, let's have you on this week." And then the same thing happened where it was supposed to be Laura again this week. And it's so fun that they're doing like Ghosties on Third. They're doing another Ghosties on Third.
Oh, really?
They're recording it. I
Awesome.
think it's in the next coming days that they're recording it.
But her phone works for that.
Well, it's using a webcam, I think, or I think she's gonna buy a new iPhone or something that like soon.
With her sponsor.
She wanted to bite the bullet and like get it. I'm like, hey, I personally feel like the one thing you should spend the money on is your phone. I mean, you're using your phone.
Yeah, that was a hot take by Trey.
Oh, that's right.
A couple episodes ago on
Yeah.
Correct Opinions, and he was like, "You can." I just said to my wife too. I was like, "They really could just charge like $10,000, and like people would be like,
they talked about was it Correct Opinions that they talked about what would you max out on, or was that on? I can't remember now. Darn it, I'm starting to get they're starting to flow together. Maybe it was on Ghost Runners that they talked about like where would you draw the line at how much money you'd pay for a phone. I think it was because they were talking about pillows and stuff at the same time. Am I right?
maybe."
I honestly don't. I feel
Maybe
like
they
they're
were
kind of
talking about
flowing
pillows
together
only.
too.
Yeah, I know. Well, either way, what would you max out on? I think personally, I want to say $3,000.
Are you saying max out like it would be too much and you would go Android, or like what's
No, like I wouldn't buy
any phone?
No, like I would buy like a lesser version. Like I'd buy a 2-year-old phone or like
an Android,
not the Pro. So I always get like the Pro Max because I like to have the biggest screen and I like the cameras to be good on it because it's, you know, when we have kids and you're taking all these pictures and videos of your kids and blah, blah, blah. It's not every year. It's like every other year. I keep it for 2 years and then Shelby's is almost 3 years old. So
I think we usually last like 3 or 4 years. It's really just like the battery. If the battery needs to be replaced, just maybe start looking. I've also replaced the battery like 2 different times on 2 different ones. So.
Yeah,
but I don't. Maybe 3,000. Like 20,
I think 3,000 would be my limit.
I think maybe 2,000.
Yeah,
like which we're probably gonna be there
said
like
too.
in the next couple of years. But I usually buy used. I don't buy like new. Like anyway, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Corey. Like, yeah, I almost like. I mean, as a college student, like, I mean, I'm still like with my parents and stuff. Like, they still definitely like help a lot with stuff. But like, I generally am always getting stuff like used. Almost never buying too much stuff like new. So I honestly don't know like what I would spend for like a new phone because I just don't spend it on a new phone ever. I mean, it would have to be like there would have to be like no other options for me to spend like at like a couple thousand on a phone. Like there'd have to be zero other options.
Yeah.
You guys make good points. And you know what? I'm gonna lower mine from 3 to 2.
Yeah.
I'll say 2,000, but I wanted one other thing. If I'm paying $2,000 for a phone, I want them to use better materials. Like I don't want a glass back.
I think I'm looking at you.
I want the titanium phone with the glass. Like, why are we putting a glass backing on a titanium phone?
So you have to buy a new one in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Just make the whole phone out of titanium, and then we wouldn't even need cases.
Right. Apple also sells cases, right? So
yeah.
just
But you know what else?
Yeah.
keep you buying.
When I met Brad and we're having this conversation, I noticed I looked down at the table and his phone, no case. And I have
case
my
for
like super, you know, I use like the crazy OtterBox Defender, like the biggest case you can get. And I was like, dude, no case. He's like, yeah, I just never really do a case. And I'm like, this makes me nervous. And he's like, well, I mean, how often do you drop your phone? And I was like, I mean, kind of often, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Defender case.
I did see on Joe Rogan's podcast, Neil deGrasse Tyson was on there one time, and he grabbed his phone and he was like playing around with it in his hands because he also doesn't use a case.
Yeah,
and he was likening it to when a soldier, or like how they can do all this stuff with their rifles. How they play with the rifles so much and train with the rifles so much and like do all these different kinds of movements to make sure that they are never going to drop the rifle. And so he does that with his phone. He just like plays with his phone and his fingers all the time just to get used to it. And I'm just like, yes, but what happens if you're walking and somebody knocks into you and it just flies out of your hand, or you trip, or like accidents happen. Are you a phone case guy or a no case guy?
Yeah, I mean, like right now on my phone, like I just kind of have like I got like this like wood leather case thing, and yeah, I mean it's like I've had this phone for a number of years now, but yeah, I mean it's worked pretty well, and I mean like I've definitely seen like a lot of stuff like I mean I haven't ever really had like a phone or a case or phone without a case on it,
Yeah.
but like I kind of just don't want to risk
Yeah.
it ever.
Yeah.
Just not really worth it.
Risk it for the biscuit. Speaking of biscuits, we'll get there later, but the schmores were about breakfast foods this week.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, so episode 438, we got broken up with. I'm gonna do a quick little recap, and then we'll come back and touch base. So Home Depot. Brad tries to guess what Jake was going to buy from Home Depot purely by Jake describing where he was in the store. Then he goes to the pro desk checkout, and there's that funny little interaction of, so no job then?
Yeah.
Then they do like the one letter off kind of a game with mowers and movers. The guys they talk about getting dumped by their mowing company and some of those shenanigans. And then with moving their friend Glide, which by the way, Glide, how do you spell that as a name? Is
I
that a
think
nickname?
isn't it like with a Y? I think
Yeah.
it's with a Y. It must be with a Y. It can't be with an I because that's a product.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like Clyde, which back to what you said with the Y, but just with the G or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they like miswrote it on the.
I just
birth
wonder, like,
certificate.
you know what? I should have texted the guys to be like, hey, is that a nickname or is that a real
Yeah,
name? Or...
That's not a worthwhile job.
I have this little dream of like getting some like ghosty exclusives like on our pod, some ghosties on second exclusives. Hasn't happened yet. So they talk about how they rented or how Glide works for Tesla, so they rented a Cybertruck that was like the Cyber Beast,
The top notch one or whatever.
yeah. And then like when they were moving, they talked about like how if you hear a big noise, you kind of wait 5 seconds to see if everything's okay before you like reach out.
Yeah.
They talked about disappointing boomers by not carrying business cards. I thought that was hilarious.
That is funny.
Because it's very relatable because it's like as a director of sales for a hotel, like whenever I go to events, I should carry business cards with me, and 80% of the time I do. You know, sometimes I forget them, or sometimes they're in my like not briefcase, folder zipper thing, and it's back at the table, and I'm like talking to somebody, and I'm like, I don't have anything on.
It's just so funny that there's like an expectation from probably not just boomers. It's probably even like, what's the 70s and 80s generation? Is it Gen X? I think
so.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably in that too. Like
I'm a little bit in it.
Little bit. Maybe a little bit, but I think it's just a desire to want to like. There's got to be something you can give me that can like. Yeah. I mean, clearly that's the.
It helps you remember.
Yeah.
Also, it helps you connect with them later by contacting them.
But I feel like every business card that I've gotten personally in the last like 5 years, I have no idea. It used to be business cards, people kept it in like a Rolodex type thing or whatever.
So when I get back from like a business from like one of those things, I'll have a little stack of like maybe 8 of them, and I'll go through, and the ones that I want to keep in touch with, I'll like put them in as a contact in my Google contacts, and then I'll toss them.
Okay. I was saying that the ones that I don't.
There's always a couple that you're like, you just the formality of, oh yeah, great to meet you.
Never use that.
So sorry, I keep getting stuck. Then Brad mentions John Mark Comer in passing. I just as a little. Do you know who that is?
I don't think so.
I only recently saw a few of his videos, but he had a couple of really interesting videos on like church growth analysis and like church trends. Like it was just very interesting to hear him talk about a lot of statistics and stuff like that, and stuff that it's like not just the numbers, but like the data reveals certain things within the church that are pretty interesting. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I can definitely relate to that at work because it constantly everyone wants it, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid too.
Yeah.
Like just like show me the data that like make sure everything's data backed. Every decision is like got a return on investment and stuff like that.
Well, one thing that I kind of opened my eyes to is like back in high school, especially, but all through my young 20s, like the older that I've gotten, like the more grace I have for people. I was always so like, it's our way or the highway. Like, you know, just a classic, you're on fire for the Lord as a teenager, and like you're just like you have it all together. Like you have gotten like the revelation about something and you know how it's supposed to be, and this is how we're all supposed to be living our lives, and this is how every church should look like this. And he had a really cool thing to say about like the ecosystem of the kingdom of God and how each region, like it's necessary to have a mega church and home churches and medium-sized churches and houses of prayer. Like I was always trying to figure out like what's like what is the pinnacle model? Like what is the thing that everyone should be a part of? Like we should all have the and it was just kind of very interesting and kind of encouraging to hear him talk about it. And of course I don't want to repeat anything because I'm gonna fumble through it and not like honor what he had said properly, but it was just really cool to hear about that like perspective of like having an ecosystem of the faith community and how like there's a place for different sizes and kinds and stuff. It's not like that, well, they almost have it right and they're almost where we are. It's like, no, they're looking at us thinking the exact same things. And if we preach Christ and Christ crucified and Christ risen again. Sorry, not trying to get too deep over here. But I just thought it was fun that he had mentioned him, and I had never heard anybody else mention him. So then they went from movers to lovers, lovers to leavers, leavers to fevers. Of course, lovers, he talked about like his family and like Bo being in Texas and missing him. Leavers, I forget what he talked about with leavers. Oh, it was Isaac. It was like they were playing pickleball or something. Oh, no, they were playing basketball, and these two other like athletic black guys came in.
Oh, and then he dunked on him.
Yeah, then he dunked on him or something.
I wish they would have like spent a little more time talking about that because I wanted to know like what happened after that.
Yeah, because he mentioned
kind of like glossed over it. The guy was like, "All right,
oh, that's how it is."
And I wanted to be like, "So did you get like destroyed after that?" Like,
no, he mentioned that I think
they went
the
back
next two games. What was the phrase he used?
Maybe they exchanged like wins or like,
I think so.
One each. I think that's what I took away.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then he talks about Catherine when he gets the fever. He had stepped on the nail, the rusty nail, and Catherine. We have to come back to this because Catherine says, "Well, as long as you're bleeding, you're good." And I've heard that too, and it's like, where does that come from? And they kind of talked about it, like I think they were like pulling it up online, but I still don't really know where that was coming from. Sorry, I'm almost finished with this episode. So then they talked about Dexter and how it's not as good as people say it is. I've never seen Dexter, so if you have, I want to hear your thoughts, Philip. Steve Triplett, Papa Steve calls. Oh my gosh, we all love Steve Triplett. He's the pod's dad. I think he's the dad of the pod for sure. Steve Coop is awesome. I'm trying to think. Have we ever seen Brad's dad on the pod?
Yeah, he just in the Chick-fil-A thing. I don't know about him like recording.
Oh yeah,
Philip probably has heard like, if there's some older episode that he joins in on. But he's on the video in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, let's pause for a second. Philip, weigh in on Brad's dad.
Yeah, he was in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru there. And then I think there was an old episode where I think they had both dads on the podcast, both Jake's and Brad's dad.
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, they both were on, and yeah, I mean it was kind of just like kind of funny the two comparisons of like Brad's dad like going to preach to like some like inmates out of like a prison, and then like Jake's dad like fighting a whole bunch of other guys like doing kind of just whatever and stuff, and yeah, it's kind of funny differences there, but I mean they're both just great guys. I love them.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, I loved how when Brad called his mom a few weeks ago, and when his dad was in the background, and I just like the little detail of your dad just got back from it's National Day of Prayer, and he was like just like those little details, those little passing moments, but it's just cool because like my parents are really into National Day of Prayer. They lead it at our like in our city here, so just like hearing those things like happening around the country. Yeah. It's always cool to connect in that way. Steve watching the clip of Nate Bargatze saying Jake's name over and over and over again. Yeah. That's such a great, completely relatable, like, yeah, if even when you just mentioned Dusty's top 5 a little bit ago, like I can't just help but just get a little excited, you know, just like, oh man, that's Dusty's top 5. That's justice. And we got to come back to the Nate Bargatze thing because that's awesome. Everyone's got the fever paddle around town. Jake's grandma going on a cruise, getting her passport and her real ID. And then that mentions how Rachel still hasn't gotten her last name changed. And I was like, what? Everyone says that they don't look at the bride; they always look at the groom. That whole situation, that was really funny. And then they watched the Lydia Emsch video. And I thought it was cool too because like they're talking about the post, and I was like, I posted on Facebook. I was like, yeah, for the win. Cozy Earth ad. I loved this little one-liner. Whether you're spooning or buying crypto, you're gonna want to do it inside some Cozy Earth bed sheets. And then also another funny line that Jake had. Brad's talking about Anxious Generation, and Jake says, yeah, I was going to read it, but I was on my phone. And then the last note that I had on here from this episode, I know it wasn't the last thing, but it's just the last note, was burning CDs. And the fact that Jake mentions that he never wrote on them because he was always afraid that it was going to mess something up.
Yeah.
That was just... All right, so that was the episode. Dive in as much as you guys want, boys. Anything from that stand out?
I think not too much. I mean, there was I think, yeah, Home Depot. I mean, it's kind of just funny seeing like, yeah, Jake kind of trying to go in there and like just like, I mean, Brad's definitely got them like way handier. I mean, he's just always been a bit more handier of a guy.
Yeah.
It's always interesting because, yeah, I do, which we'll get to like some automotive stuff, I guess, in next episode. But like, I do some like my own car work, changing oil, doing brakes, tires, all that stuff. And so it's always interesting to hear them like talk about different things around the house and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, kinda. You're kind of doing it right. There's different things I would not do like that, but yeah, but it was funny seeing Brad kind of trying to like yeah, kind of figure out where Jake was in the store, and I mean, you got pretty close. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been to Home Depot quite a few times, like in the last year. So I was trying to follow along with them. I couldn't do it though. I was like,
I mean, they're all slightly different. Like maybe 50% of them, or there's maybe like 3 or 4 like different layouts.
yeah,
Like based on where you're at.
yeah. I guess you're right.
And I wouldn't be able, like, if it was like the main one that I go to, I think I could do it. But if it was like, if like that situation happened where they're like, oh, it's the one that's like way on the other side of town, it's like I may have been there once, but like there's no way I'm gonna be like pull that out.
Good point. When they talked about the Cybertruck and like how crazy fast it was, it reminded me a friend of mine, Bo, he got a Tesla. I forget which model it was, but we went to some like super long kind of vacant road, and he did that. What's that mode?
Is it like super?
Like sport mode thing?
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, something like that. It's just like where you like click it and it just like
yeah, it's like 0 to 60 and like he's got like a bougie one.
Yeah, it was like it had that really fast, 1.6 seconds or whatever it is, like whatever it was awesome. And I remember, and it's so quiet. That was the other part of it. It's like you're not revving up, like you're just like you just felt like you're in a spaceship, like a speeder or something. Yeah, I was like Luke Skywalker on Tatooine in the land speeder. Just like, by the way, Philip, are you a Star Wars guy?
Yeah. I've watched I think all the Star Wars movies. Haven't seen really much of like I've seen kind of clips of Mandalorian, and then I started watching a bit of Clone Wars. I haven't gotten into that yet, but that's been really good so far. But yeah, it's a great movies and stuff.
Clone Wars. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I just finished the Andor, which is like a spin-off show.
Did you see season 2 yet?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I just got through it. It leads right up to Rogue One.
Yeah.
And so I was like, when I finished it, I was like, I guess I have to go watch Rogue One.
Yeah.
And so I watched it, and they did such a perfect job of like, I mean, it's quite like you have to, when you finish the second season, you have to immediately follow it with Rogue One because it's like,
I love it.
Yeah.
Rogue One is easily like the best Star Wars like spin-off movie that's like not one of the episodes. And especially that moment where Darth Vader lights it up and just like tears through all those rebels in that hallway. That is the best thing.
Well, what other spin-offs are there? Like,
oh no, there's
a movie perspective.
Solo.
Oh yeah, what am I thinking?
Isn't it like Kenobi?
Yeah, like the TV shows too. Kenobi. Well, what were the other movies? There was one more movie because they did Episode 7, and then they did Rogue One. They did Episode 8, and they did maybe that's when they did Han Solo.
Yeah,
maybe there is just Rogue One and Han Solo. I feel like there's another movie though. I'm sorry for for the edit or whatever. But either way, if there's another one that I'm missing, I'm gonna put it right here. Goodness. But yeah,
so many shows though.
yeah, there are so many shows, and I actually really like Kenobi. I love Mandalorian. I loved Ahsoka. Didn't care about the Acolyte. The Acolyte, like there was a few good episodes. Like there was some crazy good lightsaber fights, but it was just like kind of out there. Didn't care for it. And then is there another Star Wars TV show? Andor. Yeah. In which Andor, I thought it was a solid show. Really enjoyed it, but the way that they tie it in with Rogue One, like that's what you were explaining. I've heard it the same way. So sorry, I don't want to go too much on the geek
It's
topic.
the Star Wars episode.
But also, so Star Wars, and the other one that the guys aren't really into, but I love so much, is Marvel. Are you a Marvel guy?
Big, even bigger than like Star Wars. I've watched basically all of that. Yeah, that was we
Sweet.
like basically all up till Endgame. Those are probably like my favorite. The new Thunderbolts one that came out, that one's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I
at
really
least in my
enjoyed it.
opinion.
Yeah. You went to see it?
Yeah. My wife and I just went through all of them. The only one that we didn't see because for some weird reason, it's like the third Spider-Man is not available on any streaming service, or maybe it's only available on one specific one.
Dang, dude.
That we don't have access to.
You're cheap, bro. Just pay for it.
I'm gonna spend like $20 just to watch a movie.
$4 on like
Apple
to rent it.
Oh, okay. I don't want to rent a movie for like $4 for 1 hour. No. I'll watch it. It'll hit Netflix eventually.
There's a reason why Corey has more money than we do. I'll just say that.
But yeah, Thunderbolts was fantastic.
And Fantastic Four is going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Maybe we should just pause this podcast. Let's just start a new episode.
Yeah.
Start a new show over here about Star Wars and Marvel. I'm just kidding. All right. So sorry that I kind of went off on a tangent there, but the Cybertruck, that sounded awesome. And when Brad talked about stepping on the nail and Catherine was like, if it's still bleeding, you're fine. Like I said, I've heard that before. I can't even remember who said it before. You haven't ever heard it?
No.
Have you ever heard that before?
It sounded ridiculous when
I hadn't really heard too much with like tennis in general. So I think I basically like saw in the book, I think Facebook group, like I think nurse RN person like commented and was like, yeah, you're not gonna like lose your leg, Brad. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're just gonna have like some sort of like, I think it's isn't it like a seizing of the muscles? And so yeah, it's not great, but I mean, you definitely don't want it.
That reminded me of go ahead.
I was just say that very much sounds like my wife too, and she's like, and I'm just like, I think if I think an ailment could be bad, she's like, no, you're not gonna lose your leg. It's just like you're just gonna have a spasm and you'll get over it.
Dude,
my wife is a nurse too.
Corey's wife Kadra is like just one of the coolest people you'll ever meet. She's so cool headed too. Like she's just so like no nonsense sometimes that like just says exactly like I can hear her saying that to you. It's so funny. Sorry, I'm trying to like maneuver my legs over here. We set up this interesting table setup this time where it's like we put these three thin tables together and put them at an angle, so it'd be kind of like we each have our own side. Yeah, we're in a corner.
Like
here.
in the
you can see the corner down there. Oh no, I'm disconnected. Shoot. Okay, we're good. Bag safe for the win. All right, so we can move on from that. Now Dexter. Have you seen Dexter?
Yeah, I watched all of it. It's probably been like 7 or 8 years or something.
All right, so and there's something that's kind of bloody about it, right?
Yeah, the whole thing.
So what's the premise again?
He's like people that are like, I guess technically like deserve to die, or like evil people. Like the police are trying to catch these people and he just like kills them. He is like a crime scene investigator, or the crime scene I think something to do with like he's in the police. Like, have you seen it, Philip, or no?
No, I've basically just seen like different clips on YouTube, and I've kind of always been like, what the heck is this like show? I don't really like most of the clips I've seen, so.
The acting tracks with like early 2000s to like maybe like 2010s, like my high school or our high school years type of thing, because I think it is that old. It's probably like 15 and 20 years old. So the acting kind of like, there's some cheesy acting in there too, and there's voiceover, like it's like him like doing voiceover of like what he's thinking. Of like, oh man, Like this guy's a scumbag. I'm gonna cut him up or something. And it's like, all right. But I think we enjoyed it in the moment.
Yeah.
Like watching it. But yeah, it's not a show that I would watch again. And I feel like after 8 seasons, it's probably also like I never watched Game of Thrones, mostly because I've heard like people just hate how it ended. And I feel like the end of Dexter also was kind of like,
and hard to pull off a solid
Difficult.
ending. Like
Yeah.
hard to stick.
When it's
a
that
great end.
long.
Like same thing with Lost. Lost had that issue with the ending. There was another show, I cannot remember it for I can't remember what it was, but Shelby and I just watched it. It was like 5 seasons long, and it was, I think it was on HBO. It was about a guy. The bad guy's name was Red John, the mentalist.
okay.
So he's like kind of like Psych, how he's got like that kind of photographic memory, and he's just really intuitive and picks up a lot of things at the crime scene. He uses those powers. He uses those abilities to kind of like track down the bad guys. But it's called the Mentalist because he was like a pretend psychic. He was a fake psychic, and then he was like calling out this serial killer on his psychic show, and he was like pretending that he knew what was going on with the person, like psychically, and then the serial killer ends up killing his wife because he didn't like that he called him out on the show. So he then like quit. He gives up on his bamboozling. He quits the fake psychic life. And then eventually he crawls out of that pit of depression to kind of hunt him down. And so to hunt him down, he like joins forces with the police. But all along, so it's like the main plot of the show is to hunt this Red John guy down. But all along the way, and it takes like 5 seasons to get this guy. And I'm just like, I feel like they should have given him to us at season 3. And then when they finally do it, the payoff is kind of like, okay, all right, fine. But so another season, I mean, another episode, another show that they mentioned was Severance, which I love. I'm all about Severance. Have you seen Severance yet?
I have not.
Check it out, Apple TV. What about you? No? Okay.
I don't have like Apple TV stuff.
Yeah.
I'd almost like to have that, but
You just got rid of it?
Yeah, I got rid of Apple TV like right before Severance. The latest season came out and just
Well, hey, now there's 2 seasons.
Yeah.
You could get it for $6. You could get Apple TV.
selling all of the streaming services.
You can just get it for 1 month. You just binge it all in 1 month, and you can just unsubscribe again.
He's got like big cable TV overlords. Like
That's the
tell me-
secret sponsor. I'm secretly
Yeah.
sponsored by Apple TV. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. All right, well then we won't talk about Severance either, but I loved it. But okay, the last thing that Brad mentioned here is The Last Dance. How he's seen it like multiple times.
Yeah.
And I finally watched it recently after all these years, and I really, really enjoyed it. It had like a really great nostalgia presence to it. And then it was also just cool to see all the stuff about Jordan's career. And even though I'm a child of the 90s, I never was into basketball as a kid. So it was kind of cool. It was like just watching like a time capsule.
Yeah, you would have been like a really small child.
Yeah, but I mean, even when we were in elementary school, like a lot of my
Yeah.
friends who were into sports were like, "Did you see Jordan last night?" Or "Did you see like what's the other guy's name?"
Like Pippen.
Scottie Pippen. And I never knew who these guys were. Like all I knew was I knew the guy with like the crazy hair. That's all I knew that existed.
Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, but I'm saying like as a kid, it was like there was a guy with like this crazy hair that existed out there somewhere. That's all I knew. And then as I got older, I was like, yeah, I think I heard that he was like in North Korea or something. I don't know.
That did happen.
So it was
Yeah.
cool to like actually see like the whole story laid out. And
Yeah.
of course, that movie that came out recently, Air.
Is it the Nike story?
Yeah.
Yeah. The shoot like is Ben Affleck in it?
Yeah.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, right?
Yeah. So-
They're in every movie together.
I know. Yeah, so The Last Dance, I'm glad that I watched it, and it was cool to hear him talk about it. He also mentioned a different documentary podcast, or not podcast. He also mentioned a different documentary series that I haven't watched. So because he mentioned that he had watched it like multiple times, I'm going to go back and find out what that was. I'm definitely going to watch that too. Might as well. I think the last thing about this episode that really stood out to me was the whole thing that happened this past week with them announcing that Correct Opinions is going to be on the Nateland network. Because if you recall, the guys, Jake and Brad, tried to get on the Nateland network.
Yeah.
And like they either just, I think they got ghosted or something like that. Or the guy was like, I don't know. Yeah. So it was just kind of funny. I mentioned this on the Facebook group where it's like a rising tide lifts all ships. So I think that there can be only good things that come of this for the Ghost Runners podcast too. And hey, you never know what happens.
Really, like maybe another topic for another day, but I don't really understand what
The network is?
Yeah, what does that get you? Just like now people that are already listening to other Nateland like network podcasts will now like see the other one, and
Nate has almost like
he goes,
put his blessing on these shows. Like,
Okay.
hey, these, if you like my stuff, then you'll like this stuff. So it's kind of just like getting like Oprah's book club, like getting the spam. Anyway, I thought that was pretty great.
Philip, can you hear us?
I don't think so. Well,
Cutting in and out. There we go.
we're having some technical difficulties now, so we're gonna end things with Philip. We've enjoyed having you on. This has been great. It's been great getting to know you. I also wanted to talk to you about Ghosty Island, like the Ghosty single group. I know that you're on that, and Laura's going to be on next week. She's like the one who started that whole page and everything, so we'll talk to her more about it too. And of course, Maddie is on it, and she talked about it a little bit, but I just wanted to hear the perspective from a dude who's a part of it. We'll get, next time you're on, we'll talk about that some more. But dude, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, your time, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you.
Thanks again, Philip. We really appreciated having you.
Yep.
Always love hearing from a fellow ghostie, different perspectives, different origin stories, all those good things. What do you think? We just dive right back up, or right on into episode 439?
Yeah.
And what was this one called?
It's called He, Him, His, which I, before even like turning it on, was just like, I think this is going to be a good one. The Theo Vaughn bits throughout the whole episode were hilarious. I think the guy, like both of them, like getting into it was just hilarious.
Yeah, on the Facebook group, somebody said something perfect. Let me just find it real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's going to take like 30 seconds to find.
I still have to go back and listen to, I wanted to see Theo Vaughn interviewing, what's the money guy? What's his name? Why did I just forget of it? Save all your money, no credit cards.
Oh, Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey, yeah.
Angie Hashman in the Facebook group,
Yeah.
she said, Brad's Theo Vaughn impression makes me instantly think Toe Mater every time. And I was like, right when she said, but right when I read that, I was like, yes, that's right on the money. Like, I kept on, whenever he was doing his, like, gosh dang, or like whatever it was, I kept seeing Toe Mater, from Mater from what's it, Cars?
Yeah.
Did you use that at all?
I don't think
No.
so.
What's the name of the guy who does Mater's voice? Larry the Cable Guy. That's right.
Yeah.
Mater's voice, hilarious guy. But also, I mean, every time every time that Brad said like that, gosh dang, or whatever the phrase was, it got me every time.
Yeah, so many like improv, like you could tell Jake is just like, I think we talked about this maybe with Malachi or something in the last couple episodes, but like just how Jake has grown from like the, a comedic perspective.
Yeah.
He just very quickly thought up all those like Theo Vaughn things.
Oh yeah, he's sharp, man.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Theo Vaughn for a long time. You probably have too. We've probably talked about it many times before. But yeah, I don't watch every episode, but there are plenty of episodes that I watch.
Yeah.
Especially when you just see like who his guest is. You know how funny he is by himself. And then I think for whatever reason, my algorithm is just full of Theo Vaughn clips.
Really?
There's a lot of funny ones, especially with him. He's on, what's that show where it's like a redheaded guy and an Asian guy?
Oh yeah,
They're
I know
both
what you're talking
comedians.
about. I don't know what the show's called.
Like those are funny clips. Those are really funny clips.
Those guys are hilarious too.
Yeah. Oh, and the Theo Vaughn, they talk about the AI baby clips.
Oh yeah.
Which we just talked about last week on the pod with Malachi.
And I think that I didn't know what exactly maybe you guys were talking about when I said like, oh, I don't want to watch it. And I still haven't seen. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you still haven't?
I should now.
Shoot, man.
Because when he was talking about it, I was like, I did see that clip that you sent that was like, no context, here's the, gosh.
Airlines? Yeah, like Southwest, all right?
Joe Rogan?
I mean, a little shaky. Yeah, it's a little bit of shaky on there. Some of the people are there wearing shorts, you know what I'm saying, when you get on. I don't trust anybody in shorts, especially at church.
I don't know. It's just silly seeing them like,
oh my god,
like baby versions. Or like, here's another one. That's Neil deGrasse Tyson and Theo Vaughn has babies.
He's gay or straight?
Okay, so I'm going to give you an answer. Are you ready? Is outer space gay or straight? Practically everything we see and measure in space, not only objects, but temperature, size, density, is on a spectrum. So for you to say, is the universe gay or straight? I'm going to tell you, whatever the universe is, it's on a spectrum.
So it's bi.
Oh my goodness.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, so if you haven't yet, just type in Theo Vaughn, Neil deGrasse Tyson, baby conversation. That's pretty funny.
Or just any baby conversation.
Yeah.
It seems like,
Yeah, so, but you know what, for me, dang it, I'm so easily swayed. Last week, I just said it on record. I was like, that was the quickest trend that I ever got tired of. Like,
Yeah.
I saw a couple of them, and then I was just done with it. I was like, I don't really care about this. And Shelby doesn't like AI stuff in general. Shelby doesn't like even like what's it called? Like when you like make your own emoji that looks like you, and then you can like talk in the camera, and it's like
me
Memoji.
Memoji or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She hates that. Like, Shelby just doesn't like.
She didn't like we when you created your little me.
Oh yeah. No, she just doesn't like manipulating things with your face. Like,
okay.
Whatever that stuff is. But honestly, when Brad started talking about it, I was like, those are funny.
Yeah.
So it was like just hearing them talk about it on the podcast
got reignited you.
Yeah, wanted me to watch it again. So dang it, yeah. By the way, this is so crazy. You know when you hover over a name on Facebook and it'll tell you mutual friends?
Yeah.
Somebody in the Ghost Runners podcast Facebook, Haley Kuntz, I hover over her name randomly and Clark Hilty is a mutual friend. Clark Hilty used to be one of the main actors on tour with Acquire the Fire.
Okay.
And he stayed, our church was a host family for the Acquire the Fire team one year. And so, they stayed at our house, the actors or whatever. And it was just kind of cool being a teenager and you're like, oh man. But we became Facebook friends and he used to do these really cool posts. I remember he would tell a story, but he would do it one line and then double space and then the next line of the story. So it took you a long time to read through it, but it was always very dramatic that way.
I was gonna say that sounds like a early stage Facebook.
Yes.
It's a spin-off of a MySpace type thing.
Yeah, actually, it was probably on MySpace.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking of it. Either way, though. So hey, Haley, if you're listening, let's talk. How do you know Clark? That's so cool. So, but a couple other random things from the Facebook group while we're here. Lindsay Deal. Today she posted a quote from the pod. Brad says, "There's nobody that has that many stories." And Jake says, "Not every single part of your life had to be that interesting."
I had this exact same thought when it was being said.
And she goes, "Beth Rowe would like a word." And it's so true. And Beth Rowe even comments down below. And she's like, "I am so not sure how to take this," with a couple of laughing emojis. But it's just when we were talking about a few weeks in the pod about finding the dead body. And she's like, "Actually, yeah."
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Oh, man. In fact, Beth Rowe, if you're watching, if you want to be on the pod, let us know.
Yeah.
Because we'd love to have you as a guest.
Yeah.
In fact, next week we have Laura Ann as a guest. And after that, I think we're open right now. So anybody else?
Pencil you in.
You have to be an adult. No ghosties under the age of 18 can be on the pod. I think there's something to do with YouTube rules or something. But if you're an adult, you want to be on the pod, let us know. Jennifer Smith says, summer idea, all caps. Ultimate Office rewatch party episodes. Maybe a Patreon feature. And then it's like a watch along. So watch Timon watch The Office for the first time with Jake and Brad. And she says, and I have seen quite a few watch along, rewatch things on YouTube. I've never actually watched one. Yeah. I've seen some clips.
Just seen that they're there.
Because honestly, we're gonna all sit there and just watch a screen where you just see them reacting, because they can't put the episode of The Office up, right? Or I think they can. If you're doing a reaction channel, you can have it on the screen.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Either way, you know what? Maybe I'm kind of talking myself into it. It might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But also, I think the pressure of you knowing that you're being on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can watch something as authentic.
Authentic, yeah. Organic, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. But hey, Jennifer Smith, fun idea.
Yeah.
So they're talking about current obsessions.
Yeah.
Theo Vaughn, baby AI videos. Simon talks about the Net Positive podcast with John Chris. We've mentioned that on the pod before, of course.
Okay.
Love John Chris, but they specifically talk about the Ben Rector episode. I love Ben Rector so much. I think everyone knows that by now. So it made me smile a little bit. You never listened to Ben Rector?
I have listened to some Ben Rector, but it's not my top.
He's got a new album coming out on Friday.
Okay.
It's called The Richest Man in the World. Filthy Rich and Things That Matter. Kind of adjacent. Anyway, you should listen to the album on Friday.
I will.
Comedians versus musicians. They had a little part about Ben Rector conversation there. And I thought that was so interesting. How social media, John Chris says that social media is built for comedians.
Yeah.
And Jake mentions how a musician could have one great album and tour that album for the rest of their life. And in fact, there are many bands out there that they haven't had any great music in quite a couple of decades. But Metallica.
Yeah.
I actually don't even know any Metallica songs.
My dad was how dare you? I'm just kidding. My dad was saying how I think if you heard some, you might be I don't know if you'd be oh, this is Metallica, but Enter Sandman, you probably would know. Or
there's Master of Puppets, Fade to Black.
Yeah, I don't know if I know all these songs off the top of my head, but when I was in
Destroy.
Middle school, I listened to some of these things. But my dad was just saying somebody got Vera, my daughter, a shirt. It's a Rolling Stones shirt, and it had the big tongue thing on it. I think. Some older person around my parents' age. Said oh, I used to love that band, or it was a favorite band, and my dad was he was saying to us, he's I listened to
when I was maybe like a teenager. But he's like, those guys are still touring, and they're like almost 90 probably. It's like, at what point do you like hang the hat?
Yeah. Steven Tyler of Aerosmith. I remember a few years ago, Shelby's uncles wrote music with him because he had like come back to do like a solo album or something. Yeah. And he wanted to have a little bit of a country feel or something like that, like country rock. I don't know. But so they wrote a couple songs with him, and like they're on the album. Yeah. It was kind of cool that like, oh yeah, we have a couple of like produced Steven Tyler songs. Yeah. But yeah, these guys. So Jake has a good point. I mean, you could have one like kick butt album that like rocks so hard that you tour that album. Yeah. But a comedian, he's saying like comedians like they have to keep coming up with fresh stuff. But I will say, when you see a comedian, sometimes people will like shout from the crowd like, "Do this one." They have like their favorite hits of like their favorite jokes. So there's an album. I think it's just called Brian Regan Live. Yeah. We just talked about Brian Regan a couple weeks ago. I know, but he was such a funny, clean comedian. Yeah. Not a Christian comedian, but just a clean comedian. And that one album, I'm telling you, I have listened to that one comedy album so many times for so many years. And then I even showed Justice and Jubilee a couple years ago. So I think you can, it's not great. I mean, but I don't think it's great either for a band to just have one album. But you can be a comedian and have like one great set and just go do that set.
Kind of in the same vein, though, too, like at this point, go back to Theo Von. If he just like stopped producing any new content, he has so much content already out there, like either between the podcast and like reels and all that stuff like that, which is just, I think, for the most part, like a shorter version of clips from the podcast, whatever. I'm sure he would still be making money, or the content's out there, like people can enjoy it. Yeah, doesn't necessarily need to even be doing like.
Very true. And the fact, I mean, just like his personality, like they talked about, if he could just take the podcast on tour, I think people would want to see that more than like a curated stand-up comedy bit for 1 hour. Yeah. I'd rather see him shoot from the hip for an hour pod,
riff with anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, comedians versus musicians, that was cool. And Jake talks about how pickleball's his obsession right now. We have to go play pickleball. We have to do it.
I told Katie that you bought the fever paddles.
Did she freak out?
No, she didn't freak out.
What's he thinking?
I mean, I kind of like led into that. I was like, yeah, Caleb, like he's being supportive, but like I don't think he's ever played pickleball, and he bought like the fever. But it's cool. They're cool.
I have a question. If you know the answer, please put it in the comments. I just saw an ad for Friday Pickleball. They have 3 different tiers of paddles. They have like the classic one, the Challenger paddles, and now the Friday Fever paddles. And they're each like a different price point. And they say they're like one's for the beginner, for the intermediate, and like a more pro level paddle. What does that mean? So I just bought like the Fever, like the pro level paddle. Am I gonna suck with that as a beginner? Like, should I not use the Fever paddle until I've played for a while?
It sounded like it was gonna like have a little more power with less effort.
Yeah, Brad said that he barely hit it and it like went to the line or something.
But I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, so
it's going to require you to be more like controlling. So maybe we have to go get like the beginner one.
The 2 for $99?
Yeah. Or
you can get those. I'll give you my $5 off link.
Yeah, there's that. I'm gonna say, or we could get like the $10 one from Target. See how bad it is.
No, don't do it, bro. Don't do it. I just saw a video that Friday put out recently, and it's like a guy and he's playing with like a frying pan.
Oh yeah, they talk about that in one of the episodes.
But yeah, so that's my question is, like, is it fine? Can I take the Fever out as a complete beginner and I'll be fine? Or should I be starting with the Challenger or those standard ones? Let us know in the comments. So Timon talks about John Mayer. Dude, what is your opinion of John Mayer? Because I love John Mayer.
I don't think I love John Mayer. Okay. I think I probably know like 5 to 10 songs, but
dude, there's this one song that I play it so often. Yeah. It's got such a good weekend vibe to it, like when you're on your way to the beach or something.
Wait, no, what would you
No, it's called Love on the Weekend. Dude, it's just got it's just so smooth, and his guitar, his tones, like everything is just, it's like relaxing and upbeat at the same time. Yeah, man. But when they were talking about it, and Brad mentions like, oh, dude, you have to listen to the live version of Continuum. Like, yes, and then the John Mayer Trio comes out. Yeah, so I completely, if Brad didn't sell it enough, go listen to John Mayer live album.
I need to go listen to that.
Just listen to it on the way home. Yeah. But you know what? It's just another thing that you have to listen to. There's so many things.
Do you have a business card for that?
When we were talking earlier to Philip about like TV shows and stuff, dude, if there's 8 seasons of Dexter out there,
Yeah.
And I'm already not going to watch it because Brad was like, or Jake was like, I don't see what the point was. There's already so much out there that I want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody's like trying to convince you to watch something or listen to something, that's a hard sell because there's already things out there that are like in my queue that I haven't gotten to. So
there's also like just the like I'm sure people can relate to this too, but it's like the overwhelming feeling of like what you do have so much in your queue, but you're like, what I watch next, or like what I listen to next. Like, how do I start to kind of like check these things off?
Yeah.
While other things are getting added, like the new thing that got added, is that like, should I go first with that, or should I go back to like, is it first in, first out, or first in, last out, or like what?
How we prioritize. Yeah. How we prioritize those things.
Our inventory control here.
Yeah. And there's also things that like you have your priorities, but then you have your priorities like, okay, when I'm watching by myself, here are my priorities. Watching with my wife or my significant other. When I'm watching with the family.
Right.
There's like different tiers of that.
Awesome.
All right, so John Mayer, Brad mentions Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
Which we love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
And funny, another little connection to our pod. Jake then says he saw the ad on Netflix for the new Ted Danson show. We just talked about that last week. I meant, if you recall me mentioning the Ted Danson show, The Man on the Inside. You don't recall this from last week? Oh, that's so funny. Well, it was just kind of funny that I just mentioned it, and then like the next week he did, and then like the AI videos, we just mentioned that last week. Yeah, bring it up. Yeah. So it's like our algorithms are all crazy. Are all touching right now. Yeah. They're all intermingling. What else we got in here? And then Tyler mentions John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Have you seen Quiet Place?
I have. Yeah. The first one. I think he just threw out John Krasinski. I know just to go with John.
But Quiet Place is an amazing movie.
I can't remember that much, but I only saw the first one, and I do think I thought it was a good movie. I really like the actress
Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Which they're married.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that his actual wife? Yeah. I really like. So I can't think of any other movies off the top of my head. I feel like, is she one of those actresses that like she's like a brunette that you're like, they kind of maybe all look very similar and kind of easy to.
I don't think so.
Like a Jennifer Garner, Kate Beckinsale maybe, and there's maybe one more. Jennifer Garner. Oh, we're gonna have to delete this. But is Jennifer Garner? She's married to
Ben Affleck, or she used to be.
Oh wait,
or she it?
So oh no, I'm thinking of Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel
is Justin Timberlake. So Jessica Biel, Kate Beckinsale, and Jennifer Garner, and maybe Emily Blunt. Maybe I don't know why I'm throwing her into that mix, but those first three that I said, they could be the same person.
Okay, Emily Blunt. She's been in a number of movies, but one movie that you and I watched together in high school.
Okay,
The Devil Wears Prada. And you don't remember watching this?
So long.
Yeah. We watched this at your house, it was like a Friday night sleepover, and we watched like funny comedy movie, and then I saw that on, I think your mom had bought the movie or something, and I was like, hey, The Devil Wears Prada, I heard this was a good movie, and like we put it on, like two dudes, we go see Troy Kennedy together, we watch The Devil Wears Prada together,
everyone gets together, going on a ghosty getaway together.
So anyway, she was like famously in The Devil Wears Prada. She was in The Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
He like keeps waking up again and again.
I just watched that maybe
great movie,
a few months ago. Yeah. I think it was leaving Netflix or something, and I was like, I need to watch this.
Okay, check it out. I saw that movie 4 times in IMAX. 4 times. That was like, I think that was the year.
It's in your movie craze era.
Yeah, because there was a year Sarah Finitz, her worked at
AMC.
And so he would give me a free movie whenever I wanted. All I had to do was text him.
This is before you had like the stubs thing where you could go like at unlimited times.
Yeah, as soon as that relationship ended, where he actually left the theater to go work at like the DMV or something, which then it was funny because I ran into him at the DMV like a month later.
Like, can I get out of this ticket now?
It was like free movies from him, and then I found out about that Stubbs thing where I could like find Stubbs in the parking lot and like scan them in.
Oh, Kedra was just telling me about this. I barely remember this. Like, being able to look for him on the, not being able to, but like that was something we did.
One thing that I did want to mention about the air traffic controller is that it reminded me of that episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Where the air traffic controller loses his daughter, like the cascading, like what is it called, the butterfly effect?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I think so.
And I was surprised that the guys didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Because they're big Breaking Bad fans.
Guys, yeah.
So either way.
Yeah.
I was just surprised. So it was kind of cool. How should we end this episode?
I think with the jingle. No, I'm just kidding. with s'mores. I think we should do our own s'mores of the breakfast.
Yeah, let's add to these s'mores.
Yeah, I think if we could maybe just like reset.
Okay, reset. Well, okay, so we're gonna do our own like as if these didn't exist.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they
So we're doing
done
top
much better.
And I agree. I will say I think Brad won by a landslide only because I feel like Jake wasted with bananas.
Yeah, and cereal as a first.
No,
pick.
no. I think cereal and French. As a kid, cereal is
Yeah, but
life.
the question wasn't what's the s'mores of breakfast food, not what was your favorite nostalgic for breakfast food.
I think I told you about this. I want to do like a cereal night with the kids. Where it's like a cereal party where we get like 8 different boxes of cereal.
Yeah.
And just like try. Although, because there's so many times you pass by that aisle and we don't buy cereal.
Yeah.
But there's so many times you pass by that aisle and you're like, I wonder what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Or like, oh man, that was my favorite.
There's some ridiculous cereals.
There are.
Yeah.
But, so I want to get a couple of the classics. Like we'll get Lucky Charms.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Captain Crunch, Fruity Pebbles, or Cocoa Pebbles, something like that. And then we'll do like a couple of like the ones that are like,
like
we would never buy
Pop-Tart cereal or like Kit Kat cereal or something. Like there's some of those things to see in there.
There was some wild ones.
Yeah, like Sour Patch Kid cereal. Stupid.
Maddie would be all over that one.
Oh yeah.
Dude, we sent her like a little gift box.
Yeah, I saw it on the Facebook.
Laura was so cool that she put that whole thing together. I went and got Joyride from Target. I got pretty much like a sample pack, like a bunch of like little tiny packs of each flavor.
That's cool.
So whenever I talk to her next, I want to find out what she thought. Yeah. All right. So how about you start it? We pick 4.
Yeah.
And then I guess I'll have to put a poll out on our Spotify.
Okay.
All right. You want to go first?
Yeah. I'll take the first pick. I'll say chocolate chip pancakes.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Okay. Specific, but
yeah.
Okay. I will say bacon.
You're gonna say bacon.
I'm gonna say bacon.
Okay.
Because I think universally bacon is beloved.
Yeah, I feel like they said that, but then I was like thinking, what about people that are? Is that kosher?
That doesn't.
It's
matter.
like half the world.
I don't know,
or more.
All I know is what marketing has told me.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. All right. Your
bacon is life. I think second, I'm also with I think the guys in the breakfast is very much like you will eat carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to eat carbs. I think number 2 would be of some sort. That was in their honorable mentions. Unfortunately, I think most of my picks are going to be carbs, but
that's so funny. Yeah. I'm going to go with French toast for my second pick. Yep. I love French toast. Specifically, my dad always made French toast on like random Saturdays.
Okay.
And it would usually like that white bread loaf, just like the cheap white bread.
Yeah.
And he'd make it. It was just like so good.
Yeah.
And then alternatively, there was a fancy French toast I had one time. We were up in Washington D.C. and
like
there
a
was
brioche or something.
Yeah. It was like there was a little hole in the wall, fancy French restaurant, and there was like nobody open for breakfast for some reason in downtown. But this one place was. And so we go in there, and there was all these fancy ones, but then there was also French toast over here. And I was like, if I'm at a French restaurant, I gotta try French toast.
Have their toast.
And it was so good. Yeah, it was a fancy bread. It was thick and crunchy.
Oh yeah,
loved it. So French toast. Also, to tie it in with cereal, French Toast Crunch. One of my favorite cereals growing up. That was one of the ones that they discontinued. There was like Cinnamon Toast Crunch and French Toast Crunch. And they discontinued French Toast Crunch. Yeah, I love that one.
I remember that one. I feel like they had.
It was shaped like little pieces of bread.
It can't be that long.
They brought it back.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those like resurgence things. Yeah. But it was different.
Yeah, of course. It has like a bunch of like
healthier ingredients,
or maybe less healthy ingredients, probably. Or it's probably like instead of being like 15 ingredients, it's like 105. Or something.
Good point. Yeah, you're
chemicals you can't pronounce and stuff. So my third pick, because I don't think you're going to pick this, is some sort of omelet. Like an omelet with like, I don't know, like could be spinach or mushrooms or just like an omelet that has some vegetables in it.
Okay.
So it's not just straight eggs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say like scrambled eggs or sunny side up eggs.
Yeah,
I was just going to say eggs in general.
Yeah.
So we could split eggs.
Yeah.
You can say like the omelet.
It's a very specific form of eggs.
I'm going scrambled eggs. Though.
Okay, that's your third one?
Yes.
I think this is maybe a sleeper one, and I'm so surprised they didn't mention it. For my last pick, it's going to be a cinnamon roll.
Oh, bro, and we are here at the Holiday Inn Express, home of the famous cinnamon rolls.
I haven't even had one of those.
Don't tell me you. No way. But we should go get them right now. They're in the kitchen.
No.
You're right. It's too late.
I'm trying to
the carbs are far away. We're both trying to get back on the journey.
Yeah.
Not back. We're both on the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're both on the path.
Right.
Okay. Dang, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that one. Stinking great. All right, so that completes your list.
That's my list.
So what's your list?
My list is chocolate chip pancakes, muffins. I like purposely. I mean, it could be blueberry probably, or chocolate chip, or cinnamon, like a cinnamon swirl or something.
Yeah.
We've been on a muffin kick at our house, like buying a box of muffins. Also, we want to stop eating muffins because we end up eating way too many of them, my kids and I. But so yeah, it was chocolate chip pancakes, muffins, omelets, and cinnamon rolls.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I'll recap and end on mine. I had French toast. Start with bacon. Yeah, so bacon, French toast. What was the third thing I said?
Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs. Yeah. So bacon and eggs, French toast, orange juice.
You did the timing thing.
Yeah. He said milk. I'm not for
It's
the
not a
milk.
food.
Yeah. Oh, it has to be a food.
It doesn't have
I guess
to
it
be.
kind of does, breakfast food. But I'll say this: whenever I'm in the mood for a breakfast thing, if I'm having a muffin, if I'm having French toast,
Yeah.
like whatever, I don't like a full glass of orange juice, but just to have like a sip of it, occasionally does something to like the nostalgia of it all.
Yeah.
So if we have to go with food, I would probably say cereal because cereal is a part of breakfast.
Yeah.
But I would rather save cereal as an honorable mention and say orange juice. If I'm thinking about plate, dude, I just set up a good freaking plate.
Yeah.
We got scrambled eggs, like prepared well, like like the creamy scrambled eggs, some nice bacon with a little crunch to it.
Yeah, you created a whole meal.
French toast and
I just went to Golden Corral and got like a food coma for the rest of the week.
You did, yeah, totally, yeah. You're in a food
But
coma.
mine's individual.
You're taking a nap.
foods, not like I wouldn't plate them all.
I threw some protein in the mix.
Yeah, I had
Healthy fats. You did
a whole omelet. Like,
you're sure.
Probably 10 eggs, like Ron Swanson, all the eggs.
I don't think you heard what I said.
Except for let's switch it up. I don't think you heard what I said. I want all of the chocolate chip pancakes, all of the cinnamon rolls, and all of the muffins.
I like it. it. All right, well, that's fun. I'll post the link in the thing, and all 11 of you can vote.
Yeah.
And Kadra, do not vote in your husband's favor.
Yeah, it was like 1-0.
That's so funny. Well, hey, it was a great time, and I did want to. I know we don't have any official sponsors of the podcast. Of course, we always mention the sponsors of the Ghost Runners podcast. Go ahead and get your American meat delivered with Good Ranchers.
Yep.
Cuddle up with Cozy Earth. Get Sift Face with Unsifted. Use code GRKC for all this stuff. What's the other one?
Main Street Roasters.
Main Street Roasters. Main Street Ghosters. I did want to mention, though, reminder, Patty Dieterle.
Oh, yeah.
She makes awesome jewelry. Oh, you have it on?
Yeah. I've worn it every episode since.
That's awesome. You found it. I don't have mine on because honestly, I have a thing where if I get hot and sweaty, I have to take my watch off. I have to take things off of my body. And we were at the park and hot and sweaty. We did a little photo shoot tonight.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so that's why I don't have anything on my wrist right now. But the kids love their little ghosty bracelets, and Shelby got aside from the ghosty stuff, I got Shelby a couple of there's one that it's like a sparrow or something like that.
Yeah.
There's just really pretty jewelry in general. So check out Maddie Dieterle's Etsy shop. It's called Made by Maddie. Support our ghosties in full. And with that, it has been episode 8. Yep. I talked a whole lot on this podcast. I'm sorry, man. We're still figuring this whole thing out as we go. And like I said, we don't have our microphones tonight and our soundboard and stuff. We're just kind of going rogue a little bit tonight just because we don't have Shelby. At least
certainly missed Shelby too.
Yeah, totally miss Shelby.
Yeah.
Shelby is not only my other half, she's like the better half. It's nice to have her perspective on things.
Yeah.
She's so silly sometimes and just adorable. I love you, babe.
I can't say those words exactly the same.
And Corey, how about you send us off?
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe, and we appreciate all you guys.
Subscribe,
all you guys listening, and we'll see you next week.
Much love.
See you.